Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kinsani and I bring you faith, education, wisdom and lifestyle content. Please don't forget to comment, like, share and subscribe. We are in partnership with Re-Envision Wholeness, which advocates for holistic wellness and aims to educate and uplift communities. In today's video, I chat with Miyelani regarding her mental health journey. Miyelani is a 27-year-old resilient young woman who can tell a tale about keeping her head above the water. Miyelani has had a difficult journey navigating through the highs and lows of marriage, divorce, and mental health, and hopes to be a beacon of light to people who find themselves in a similar situation. Miyelani, you are welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So tell us a bit about yourself.
It just feels like when you're in an interview and they ask,
so is.
Tell us about yourself. Okay, so I am born and bred in, I'm from Mpumalanga, Mtsonga. Yeah, and from a village called Utah Village next to the Manyeleti Game Reserve. But I grew up in Kildare Village. That's where I did my primary high school, and then in 2012 I moved to Joburg as a 16-year-old starting varsity.
Sure. You're so young.
Yes, I remember they used to call me, you remember when when you get to vet, you're inducted and they call you freshers. So since I was young, they used to call me fresher.
The freshest of the freshers.
Yes. Yeah. So I was at vets from 2012 until 2015. And I did a BCom, majored in accounting, tax and internal auditing. And then started working 2016. And also then, then I went back to school, but I was just doing it, working and studying. Then graduated. Then found myself in a relationship. It is, as you said that in my intro, that I was married. So I found myself in a relationship and not found. I was in a relationship.
Got into a relationship. Yeah.
Yes, I got into a relationship which led into marriage. And I think the rest we'll talk about. As time goes.
So we met at Vets.
Yeah, we met at Vets.
And you were from Bush, and then it's very easy because everyone is related. Or it's my mother who's just related to everyone in Bushbuckridge. But then we found out that there's some linkages between us, and that's when we started calling each other cousins, and formed our relationship there. Okay, so in line with our conversation today, and you spoke about how you got into a relationship and were married, and subsequently got divorced, and we did also speak about that and how difficult that journey for you was, and how it affected your mental health. What does mental health look like for you? When you say I'm healthy mentally, what does that look like for you?
So you know how mostly we look at mental health like it's just this ugly, gobbly thing that can't even be described. But mental health is actually just the same as just physical wellness. So being healthy mentally is the same as being healthy physically. So when you suffer from flu, it shows that you are not well physically. So that means now when someone is suffering from depression, or they're suffering from bipolar, they're suffering from anxiety, they are not well mentally. So that is how we can describe mentally. It's being mentally well. Yeah, being not, I won't say being free from that, but not, or being able to balance all the the demons in your head, because even someone who has depression strive for mental health, but it doesn't say that you're striving for mental health, you're striving for mental wellness. Maybe you want depression to disappear, but being able to balance, being able to handle it. So that is how I would describe it.
Okay.
Yes.
I think it's about being able to balance life as a whole.
Yes, as a whole.
Is that okay? And you mentioned something about voices. So is it because there's some internal conversations in your head? I'm just trying to understand because mental health, and everybody has conversations with themselves in their head to a certain extent. So you hear something that says, no, we must go shopping tomorrow. Then another one is like, no, but you don't have money, you know. So I'm trying to understand where the relationship, when it gets to a point where you know that this is a toxic mental relationship, what sort of things are playing in your mind? What are you hearing in your mind?
The one voice that most people talk about is that they always experience is, you're not enough. You're ugly. Why are you doing this? No, don't do this because you cannot do this. So those are the voices that because sometimes like you said that your voice says, let's go shopping, and says, there's no, you don't have money. That's a positive, thought. But those ones, you come up, you have negative thoughts. Sometimes you end up having to harm yourself. Sometimes you don't eat. Sometimes you don't sleep. Okay. So when you are mentally well, you're able to sleep. You're able to take care of yourself. So part of being mentally well is self-care.
Okay. I understand.
Yes.
Understand.
So, yeah.
Okay. So I think there's the extent to which the voice goes. If it leads you to harmful activity, then you know that something is wrong with me mentally. So at what stage of your life did you realize that you were not well?
Okay. So I've always been an active child, just everywhere, talkative, always free, a smart kid from school, I didn't even do, in school I didn't even do all the 12 years. I skipped a few grades.
Come on, shine.
Yes. So, but then it was very easy, when I was still in high school and still in primary, because I had the support of parents. But then when I got to varsity, that was when I realized that I am actually not well, because now I'm struggling to balance my life. I can't concentrate at school. Sometimes I just want to sleep all day. Sometimes I don't feel like eating. So, that was when I realized that my attention, there's something wrong with that. So, and I did seek help, but I didn't follow through. Yes, I didn't follow through with that until when I got to encounter more things that triggered me to a point where I ended up getting admitted in a psychiatric hospital. And that was later after varsity, like 4 years after varsity.
And are you willing to share what these triggers were?
Yes, yes, I can share that. It was so. Let me just give you a bit of a background of where I come from. So from my father's side, there is this struggle with mental health. So I don't know my father. When I was growing up, I think 2 years after I was born, he committed suicide, And a year later, his brother committed suicide. So I always came, when I was growing, I always came up, knowing that I come from a suicidal family. And I remember one person, I was like, there is a chance of you being suicidal. I'm like, nope, there's no such thing as that. I'm a very happy person. I was not aware. So as time went by, when I was in a relationship, the relationship became toxic. Being controlled, being with being with a person who is abusive emotionally. Triggered all these factors to a point where I became depressed. I lost a lot of weight.
Okay.
Yeah, it was tough. But still, I did not accept that I was depressed. I just came up with excuses. When people would ask me, I'd be like, no, it's because I'm studying. Yeah. Why? It's because I'm studying and working, and I'm struggling to balance these things. So it was always just coming up with excuses, and things just became worse as the relationship went through. Things just became worse, because when you're in an unhealthy relationship, being with someone who doesn't appreciate the whole you. You are in a relationship with someone who always wants to control your every step, your every move. And to a point where sometimes, at a point, I was isolated from my friends.
Sure.
As you know, I moved. After my long stay in Joburg, I moved to Mpumalanga, where I had gotten a job, and I was based there with my former partner. So we were there, and now when I was in my community was actually in Joburg now, my friends and everything. So it was also affected me, that I don't have anyone around here. I'm just alone. And then you have this person who's also wanting to control, who also wants to do this. So you don't even have time for it's actually not even about you anymore. There's no time for you. For me, it was just him. What does he want? What does, just pleasing him. When you have arguments in a relationship, you end up, it's always you who has to apologize. It's always, so that affected me a great deal. And, but I stayed. I stayed. It's tough to leave such. Sometimes you just think and sit and be like, and think, why did I allow this? But at that point, I felt like I had no choice.
Yeah, and just there, I want to. Do you think there was, because you married young? How old were you?
I was 20 when I got engaged. I was 23.
Yeah. So at 23, and then you are in a newly formed relationship, and we love marriage. Even on this channel, we love marriage. We advocate for love. It's beautiful. But you're not guaranteed, that you're going to be with a person who sees and appreciates you.
Yes.
Do you think there was a shame that you were going to get divorced a bit early, and that this relationship had actually strained you so much emotionally?
Yes. Actually, in 2016, I was not in a relationship yet. I met a 23-year-old who was divorced.
Okay.
And she was with a child. And it bothered me so much So, and I was like, God, I don't ever want to be like this. So I think as I went into a relationship and I went to a marriage, I was like, I always pictured that lady that, oh no, I cannot be that. So it was, even as all those storms came, it was, I will stand. I will make sure. So even when I knew that, no, this time, no, red flags came. There were a lot of red flags. But then you just chose to ignore them. And I was like, I will fight for this. But also, just ignoring red flags and not dealing with certain things, just, it puts a strain. It puts a strain as you and on you as a person, and also on the relationship. Yeah, because there's certain things that, as a person, you cannot condone. And during the relationship, I fell pregnant, and I miscarried.
I'm sorry about that.
Thank you. And it was not getting getting support from the person, because even when I was pregnant, it was also saying that I was told that you need to abort. And mind you, now I was traditionally married to this person, but it was, now you need to abort because what are people going to say? So it was always, the relationship was always about what are people going to say, what's the church going to say, what's the community going to say. So there was just a lot of factors of what are people going to say. So it was not about our happiness or what we want, but all those things, all those factors came in. So I miscarried because of all the stress, and from there I just drowned myself in alcohol, because I still did not go through the proper counselings. I did not accept that I need to like seek help.
Yes.
It was, I was not the end. Even after, during that, there was a suicide attempt.
Sure.
But still, I stayed. I always tell myself that, you know what, I had made this relationship my identity. So when things were falling apart, I was falling apart. And now as I sit and think, just think about it and reminisce, I was like, this is the thing, if I had not done this, but, it's just a learning curve.
Yeah.
Because you are married, you miscarry, obviously you have a support, you expect support from your partner. So all those things they just started building up. But my goal was that, no, I'm still gonna stay with this person. I'm not gonna leave. So even when sometimes, you know how when a partner has an upper hand, they'll threaten you to leave, like, I'm gonna leave you, then I always have to beg, please don't leave me. And it was always that I was always trying to beg, please don't leave me, because I had now become also thinking about the community. What is the community gonna say? Because now I was the graduate, I had graduated, and now I've gotten married.
You did it without a child.
Without a child. I even remember there was a time when I went to church, and a lady just was speaking so good about me, all those things. And that time my relationship was falling apart, but because I had taken those things, I was like, I cannot afford to disappoint people. So I think I became a people pleaser at a very young age. So now also it was, I had never actually thought about myself. It was always about, what are people going to say? What's my mom going to say? What's my cousin going to say? What is my partner going to say? My in-laws, So it was always just I felt like maybe trying to make other people happy will somehow at some point make me happy. But it just kept on taking and taking.
I think it's sad that, because we want to keep to ideas and ideals, and this is Kenzani, she's an attorney, she's married, you know, we want to keep up with these things that and the people around us cannot even determine, is this thing, are you alive in this thing? Are you coming alive in this relationship? You know, what's happening? Are you producing fruit? Are you happy? And I think even in our work, you know, I mean, work takes so much from people. We find out people committed suicide, or they are taking drugs, or they are into intoxicating substances like alcohol, and that's because
just to numb that feeling,
you know. But we've identified so much with the ideas that we have of ourselves and the ideas that other people have of us, because we don't have, and I think the thing around that is our identity is to these things and outside of God, you know, because I think there's you know, when you have unkulunkulu, or if you have God, you know to a certain point that I can lose this thing, but I am loved, you know, I am called, I am seen, I am, you know, and those are the things that mentally hold us together. It's not tangible stuff, it's not a car, it's not a husband, but it's the thing that makes you able to even stay in certain relationships. If you feel like you're not good enough, how do you express goodness to your partner?
Yes, that's true.
You know, and this is where then we have these relationships that are not working out. So when all these things happen and you stay and it's taking so much from you, it's killing you, this relationship and everything around it, when did you decide to see a specialist?
I had started losing weight, and now you know, I have this job which is amazing. I was doing well in life, because now it's amazing. I'm getting married, you know, like I'm married and I've graduated. Now I have a job. Now I've bought a car. You see, so it was, but then all those things did not make me happy. I started having all those headaches. I'm not a skinny person, and you know, I wouldn't say thick, but I wouldn't say that I'm a size 28 or something, but I know where my size is. But then now I had like my weight had dropped, and one of our other things was that I was being body shamed. You know, me being this way was that you look ugly. You know, when someone picks your wardrobe, like, you can't wear this because you look like this, you can't do this hairstyle because you... So there was just a lot of things, and then now nothing made me happy. And I drifted away from God because I was like, Yafana, nothing's happening, God. I asked you to change, because my prayers were saying, I asked you to change this. I asked you to change this person so that we can be happy and all of this, but this is not happening. So around, before COVID, I had a self-introspection, and then I did some assessment. And it came out saying that I'm very depressed. And then I had set an appointment, but I did not follow through with it until now. We were like, it was in the midst COVID, people are dying, people, you know, all those things, and now everything is, we're working from home. So, you know, when you're, I'm living with my partner, but now I cannot even face him. I feel so irritated, like, why are you not going to work? Now we don't go to work, we have to face each other every day. At least when you go to work, you're able to. So things just became worse and worse, and I became underweight. And that was when I had actually just realized that, you know what, the first realization was that, you know, that they did not chase you away from home. You're still welcome in your mother's house. That was the first thing that came to my mind. And but still I was still begging, and there were also times when I was told that you don't make it easy for me to love you. And you should be privileged that I chose you. I sacrificed my relationships, I sacrificed my girlfriends and whatever for you, and I chose you. So in my mind I said, why do I have to make it easy for you to love me, whereas the Bible says, husband, love your wives, and in return, wives, submit to your husband. So I stuck to that, but I was like, why is it not happening? So all those things just came up, and I decided I need to seek help before I take my own life, because now I did not see myself past the relationship, because that was my identity, and now things were starting to fall apart. I can't perform well at work because this is draining me, and I decided to seek help. I got admitted, and from there I got to learn how to love myself, love me more. But it was also not an easy journey, because I need to love me more, but also there's still this person hanging around. I still need to make this person happy. So yeah, after I having gotten admitted, that was when I realized that, okay, now this is my first step to wanting to heal.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then part of the process of healing was letting go of this man. And I'm going to be sarcastic because I like sarcasm, who posed to be a man of God, right? Yeah, so you had to let go of that, right? And you initiated divorce proceedings.
Okay, so with me, the problem is I knew that I had to let go, because I even remember having a chat with my psychiatrist, and I told him that, you know what, I'm at a point where whatever happens, but I was still afraid of letting go. I think the reason why I held on for so long was because I feared that I can't let go. And also with family, they put that you can't be the first one to let go. So I held on for another year. Knowing very well I had told them that, I cannot do this anymore. They could see, but they were like, no, just pray. Pray, marriage is not easy. Marriage is not easy, but just pray and make sure do counseling and everything.
Because it's black culture. I feel like, without being in a situation like that, we've seen it with our sisters and whatever, where they've been forced to stay in relationships that were horrible. Because the family was like, what is it? You are the first one. Or you're not the first one to actually. So you are the first one in the family to get a divorce. There's many other women who have stayed through marriages historically, who went through the same thing. What's so special about you? And you got educated. I think they also use that because you think you went to school, you know better than us. And then there's the biblical thing that comes into play that, then there's that.
Yes, so there was a lot of researching as well. I think you may remember having come to you to try to understand, but also I was doing this not without my family being aware. And I remember just waiting Now it was just me waiting on him, to let go, to release me.
Okay.
And because now my family is saying, I can't let go, but I know that I have to be out of it. And there was a time when we were not even speaking. And then now they want to set up family meetings so that they need to understand. But some other people, to show that this person actually is just pure disrespectful, they did not even want to meet up. They did not come, but still, family just was like, okay, no, let's just, you raised us that I wanted divorce, but no, you can't you can't even say that. You can't even say that because you are the woman, and you. So I still remember the day when he told me that I cannot be with you anymore. It was the 1st of August 2021. And I cried so much. I don't know if those were tears of joy, but also of sadness. It was bittersweet that, okay, finally he let me go because I could not. And now at least I can serve him. And already I was talking to a lawyer, but I was waiting for that. So, that prolonged the process as well for me, because I was still, it was, are you married? No, I'm not sure. So how do you also move on? How do you also heal from, so it was just that, and like having to serve him with divorce papers and now seeking things because we built stuff together, and now you become the devil.
Yo, Mim, this is very difficult. I can only imagine what you went through. Do you think you have healed, or are you in the process of healing?
I am in the process of healing, because I officially divorced last year. And can I please just take you a bit back to what happened after the marriage was falling apart, and now I lost my job. So, having been someone who was like the community hero, now we've become the community zero. Now you're becoming the community disappointment, your family disappointment now. Drowning myself in alcohol because I've tried to seek help, but then now I feel like it's not working. I did not follow through with everything. After being admitted, making that progress, it was also just back to zero. And also I'm stuck on this marriage that doesn't want to end because I'm waiting for someone to end things, to release me. I usually use the release because it felt like that, being released, because I was holding on and waiting for that person to release me. So I want to tell you that I hit rock bottom. I hit rock bottom, and it was picking up the pieces was not easy. So that's why I can't say that I'm fully healed, because I'm still in that process of learning, in that process of trying to understand myself, getting to know myself, who I am. I won't say who I was before the relationship, but then who is Miyelani? Who is Miyelani outside the divorce? Who is Miyelani outside the marriage? Who is Miyelani outside the degrees and everything? Who am I? So I'm in the process of learning that, because even during the divorce proceedings and everything, I encountered another incident, which also just brought me back. So because I did share with you that throughout I started self-medicating. I usually use it as self-medicate because I was self-medicating with alcohol. I drowned myself with alcohol, so I became a heavy drinker. So and this also brought so much strain to my family, my mom, because she did not know me as that person. And due to that was because me and my mom never had a relationship, like that very good relationship, staying together and then talking about everything. So that's why even when I was going through all those things, I could not even confide in her. It took time for me to just tell them everything. So it was in 2022 May last year when we were at a family event with very close family members, when I got drunk, very drunk, and a family member, very close, we grew up together, a cousin of mine, took advantage of me and he raped me. And so that also affected my healing process, because I can say that I was making progress, because now I had even taken certificates. I started learning, becoming a mental health ambassador, and I had started talking about mental health and everything. But then that just took me back, and the one thing that was the one thing that affected me so much was that, this is a family member who victimized me. But then not just community, but within the family, instead of remedying this, they start to blame the victim. What were you wearing? You were drunk. But was there consent? No. So that also that broke me so much, because also how things go, and how black families are. If it's within the family, let's just talk through it. Let's just make sure that it doesn't, don't call the police. But I knew that I decided to stand up for myself and open a case. Not knowing that this will reveal other people's true colors within the family members, within people who were trusted, people who I trusted. And then there was a division. And when I can just tell you that the case didn't go anywhere, because other people just decided to change, and there were lies now being changed saying that I had seduced the perpetrator.
Sure. So, Miyelani, we have spoken about this, and I think it's sad, because this is it's widespread. The family wants to retain its respectable character, that integrity. Kuti matiba kama bunda, the dad is a pastor, instead of us coming together, you know what, we must be letting go, we must be willing to let go of certain things, even if it's our own children, if they're bad. But we are here, the whole family, not the whole family, but certain people in the family harbor a rapist.
Yes.
Who will perpetrate this thing, not just to you, because then we see a culture where they think they can get away with this, with this thing. And I just, we are not creating a safe environment for ourselves. Yes. The more we think we are keeping the unity, is the more we are creating division.
Division, yes.
Because love thrives in truthfulness.
Yes.
Love thrives in faithfulness. That is what love is. And if you want loving homes, loving community, where there's no conflict between uncle and niece, it's because somebody must take a stand and say that you will not do this to this child, or I'm going to report you. And we actually go through with it. So I'm really sorry that you had to go through all of this. And after everything you went through, especially from somebody you trusted.
Yes. You know how, as you're saying all of this, how the family I come from is actually a leadership family. I remember when I had opened the case, one of them had asked me, actually one of the person I had trusted, even when I was going through all my mental health issues, I told her my mom had found that person as a confidant, but turns out no. So the person had said that, okay, I'll help her out since she went through this. I'll take her to us. She'll go for counseling and everything. And then when I stood up and took and opened the case, she asked me, "Are you really, really going to follow through with this? Are you going to do this?" And I remember my words saying that the reason why I decided to do this, it's because what if he does this to someone else who is not me? What will happen? Also, this family is you guys are, this is you lead the community. So now what are you showing to the community? Saying that, okay, this person, it's fine, he can do this, we'll protect him. And that is how and through the family meetings, I was told that, no, you can't open a case because you're going through the divorce case, and now there will be this, and they will shame you, saying that you were drunk, you were wearing a short dress, and, all those things. And it turned from, how do we remedy what he did to you, to how can we cover it up, and also make sure that now, please make sure that you don't wear short things, you don't drink. So, and I remember saying that I thought we were family members. I didn't know that when we're around family members, we have to behave a certain way, because you guys are animals that cannot be tamed. And you know how I'm very comfortable around my cousins. I grew up with them. So for him to be able to do such to me it broke me. And for certain family members to be able to stand with him and lie. I remember when the statement was being written, when they were taking statements from that person who even hit me instead of hitting him. When it happened, when they found that he had done this, I was hit. And I was like, why am I being the one who's being beaten up? Why is it not him? Because he's the one who, and you could see the state I was in. And so all these lies that were covered up and everything, just it broke me. But also when they say that God makes a broken situation from ashes to beauty, it's true, because Joseph wouldn't be a president, wouldn't be who he was if it wasn't his family members, his brothers who sold him.
Sure.
So that situation was actually a turnaround of my life, because God was revealing to me that all these people that you've been confiding and trying to, are not people who you should bring close, are not people who should be around you. So as much as that, that situation broke me, it a learning curve. I took it as a learning curve because I got to see people's true colors. That not everyone comes to be like, are you okay? Not everyone who comes to you means good.
Yeah, sure.
The devil was an angel as well.
Speaking from the story of Joseph and the betrayal around the family is at the end. But you remember at the end, there's a process that he underwent, and we don't get to hear what his thinking was. We only get to see the part where this man has healed, this man has forgiven, and then he says that what was meant for evil, what was meant to harm me, turned out to be for good. And more than anything, I pray for your healing. I pray for your healing. I pray that God heals and that he restores. And because God is faithful and near to the brokenhearted and is just, and I think we forget that we speak of God as both a lion and a lamb. He's not just a lamb that was slain. He's also a lion who's coming down to judge us, but he sees your heart and he sees what you've gone through, and there's healing in him. And I just speak healing over you, that God heals you and brings you to a place of wholeness, that you will remember what the joys of life are, the simple pleasures of life are, that you will go on and teach and become this beacon of light that you want to be, this city that you want to be, on healing and surviving, and to remind you that having divorced at 23 and all of these things is not your identity. Like you said, that's not who you are. This is a story for you that you will tell, and the story that you are telling through this podcast. I just want you to share your final words, and this is to people who are also maybe struggling with mental health, and just your final words for them. How would you want to encourage them or advise them?
What I can say is acceptance is key, but acceptance doesn't mean that now you're making what the situation that you are in your identity.
So good.
I struggle with mental illness, but I've accepted that I have mental illness, but that is not my identity. So accept and seek help. And when seeking help, be present and be willing to engage, be willing to work on your health. Because sometimes we are so much stuck in being the victim, blaming and what this person did to me, this person drove me to a mental breakdown. And then you hold a grudge. You hold that bitterness, and then bitterness grows into a root that needs to be, so uproot that. And uprooting the root of bitterness is through prayer as well, through counseling, through seeking help, talking about it. That helps. Because if I can tell you the reason why I could not heal, I did not allow myself to heal, because I was still stuck. I had identified myself as the 26-year-old divorcee, the girl whose father killed herself and she doesn't know, the girl whose family is suicidal. Now I have bipolar, I have anxiety. Those were my identities. So, and it had become who I was, and now I could not even see myself past through that. So I had let pain, do not let pain describe you. Pain is not your identity. Pain is meant to help you navigate through life. Take that pain and make it a testimony. Take that pain and just share with people and be able to to heal.
Okay. Mimi, thank you. Thank you for sharing. I know this required a lot of vulnerability and a lot of strength. And I mean, there's a lot of people who are going to watch, and including the people that are part of the problem. And we really want to thank you for joining us on the channel. And guys, that brings us to an end to this conversation. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And be reminded that there's always help. There's always help, and there's always people willing to support you, even outside of your family. Goodbye.